All right. Well, welcome to Lead Stronger Longer. This is the podcast that empowers you to purposefully lead your life personally and professionally. My guest today is Colle Davis. He's a Fortune 500 executive coach and mentor. And over a 12-year period, he conducted a research project. It was called the Leadership Lab. He tracked 218 corporate executives from 40 different companies in 12 industries. And this resulted in his Behaviors of Success program. It focuses on efficient behaviors to achieve the outcomes you want. He is also the lead inventor for Portable Farms aquaponics systems and the owner of Aquaponics University. It's an online school that teaches students how to assemble and operate an aquaponics system. And he's got students in 25 countries. I'm excited to learn more about that and to dive in on our interview series with Lead Stronger Longer leaders. Let's start off, Colle. First of all, welcome. And we love starting off with your favorite quote or mantra. What do you have for us?
Thank you for inviting me. When somebody asks for my favorite, it's always like, okay, which one is it today? I'm doing the coach's notes, and people hate change. But if they're going to succeed, they have to change something. And that's tough. Ask people to change, and they squirm and wiggle and try to get out of it. And I say, do something simple, like wear your wristwatch or your instrument on the other wrist, and you'll change because you'll see time differently.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you apply that to your life, either personally or professionally?
I try to shave from a different space on my face every time. And it's a gentle reminder that when I approach myself that close, start somewhere different. Now, I tell people, don't try the other hand, you'll kill yourself. But, even for women, start on the other side of the body. This time I'm here, this time I'm here, this time I'm here. It forces my mind to find new ways to do things.
I love that. I love that so much, and definitely helps you be more mindful. This is so good. That's a great tip. So
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about, you've had so much experience, and let's talk about your specialization, though, in the two areas that I brought up in your bio. You did this incredible leadership lab research, and then completely on the other side, we have this aquaponics. I would love to know if you can tell us what would be the more interesting story to share, if you have stories in there that would help us with insight around leading stronger, longer, and leadership. But I'm really interested in the aquaponics. So with that caveat, all right,
we'll start there.
Okay.
I got interested in aquaponics when I went to the University of California at Davis. I'd never heard of it. It just wasn't something I was aware of it. And yet I was raising bees. I had a few chickens. I was married, had 3 kids, and this aquaponics thing came up. And I said, that's amazing. So I got a job working at the research lab for tilapia and lobsters. And so I learned how to raise the animal side. Now, people could try to get tilapia to breed. Tilapias don't have a problem breeding, but they were crowded. So I watched, and I saw a pair of tilapia that wanted to be together in a tank of about 40 different ones. I took those 2 out, put them in their own tank with lots of sand, did 2 other couples, and within a couple of weeks, we had hundreds of babies. I thought, this is easy. In the other part of the lab, with raising lobsters, I said, how can you raise plants in this effluent? So I took a dishpan, put it across an aquarium, put some sand in it, and planted tomato seeds and orange pits. Nice warm lab. Things came up. They're growing beautiful. They get about this tall and they die. I went, something's wrong here. So from those two instances, I learned you got to feed the fish right, take good care of them. And with the plants, they can't have their roots wet all the time. Now, something like lettuce, it doesn't care. But tomatoes and oranges, you have to give them some space to dry out, but it does not soak in water all the time. So that's how I got started. And years later, my wife and I put together a system called Portable Farms. We raised tilapia, and we used the fish waste for fertilizing vegetable trays. So, and we're building a new set here in Virginia to show people.
This is actually so interesting. And as you were talking about how you were discovering what was going wrong, it's a lot like building teams and how teams fall apart and how to actually discover it and stay in that interested scientific view as opposed to just completely scrapping the whole thing. And we can discover so much. What a great story. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So go ahead.
On the other side, I've been a coach since 1982, and I tried to find out the commonality of success. At the time I lived in Ithaca, New York, and my client base was about half Catholic, Protestant, and half Jewish. And I thought, what that's really strange. And it turns out that the Protestants, Catholics, are scared to death of success. And Jews are afraid of failure. And in that, it's like, what makes them successful? It depends on whether you're a Jew or you're a Catholic. And it is their fear drives them. And what makes a good executive? Somebody who has a healthy fear of failure or success. Does that make sense at all?
Well, it does, for sure, because beliefs are everything. Beliefs drive us, period. They drive our actions, they drive our emotions, they drive everything. So it's interesting when you were talking about the leaderships and you interviewing over 200 leaders that you'll discover that same principle and you can see that interwoven. But, religion is a belief. Even our political, that's still a belief. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means it's a belief that we keep thinking, right? We keep thinking the same thought. Doesn't mean it's necessarily right. Doesn't mean it's true. So it's the belief. And that's really, really interesting. And I think it's very insightful. And I think it's a really important piece that anyone who wants to change and improve understands. So thank you for bringing that to light. Will you share with us a crucial early mistake on your journey?
Yes. I had a mentor. She worked with me for almost 3 years, and an early session I did with her, things were going great. And we had been working with this couple for about 2 hours. And an interesting piece came up that I hadn't really heard from the lady before. And I started to pursue it, and my mentor didn't quite jab me inside, but she made a movement that said, you got to stop. I said, okay. So what I learned was 2 things. One, you have to have permission. You want change, you want to go forward, you want to make this work for somebody, you have to get permission from them to do the work. And the second is, sometimes people need to take a break. You're working for 2 hours straight on something that's in heavy duty. If you don't take a break, even if it's just a biological break, you're going to lose track because they're going to be distracted. You see where that goes?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that I don't go by the clock with my clients. I go by the energy.
But, very good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But this is a key point for anyone to understand about themselves as well. They need to check in with themselves and ask permission to themselves, going along the lines with your belief, because we are living in a world where no one's asking us permission what's being fed to us 24/7. We've got all these memes coming in, and when I say that, marketing memes or whatever, and if we do not curtail that for ourselves, we're going to go off on the rails. So I think this is a really insightful piece for ourselves to look at. No one has asked us, I won't say any names, but any brand out there has not asked us permission to put in to take our attention. So we have to take that responsibility to give ourselves permission, or by default, we have given them permission, and this is a key thing. If I just reverse that, but it's so insightful. Thank you for sharing that, because that is, sometimes we forget. We just have to forget, like, whoa, we're just on autopilot and have no clue that, wait a minute, I didn't actually just check in. I love how it ties in with what you said about shaving on the other side, just being more mindful. That's great. So what would you say, in terms of all of your experience, advice you have for leaders to lead stronger, longer?
I never give advice, so I can make some suggestions. The biggest suggestion is learn to listen. Listen carefully. If you listen carefully, people will tell you everything. They'll even tell you stuff they shouldn't be telling you. So if it takes a little longer, you have to ask another question or two. Listen to what they're trying to tell you, because sometimes, especially reports, may not want to tell you something. Give them the space, give them the support, give them the encouragement to continue to talk until whatever's blocking, whatever's sitting in front of them, they can say it, they can get it out there. It also applies to superiors. You may or may not want to tell your superior something. Ask them what they need to know. One of the most important questions I give to people, every client, every prospect, is this: what has to happen for ... What has to happen for us to go to a different place for dinner? What has to happen for you to hire me? What has to happen for you to get this report in by Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning? Okay. It sounds like a what question. It isn't. It's a how question, and you're eliciting their process. What is it that how do they process information in their head? A really good example, a friend of mine used to take me to lunch because he wanted a coaching session, was a cheap guy. He said, look, I've been to this company two times already, and I can't get them. They need our product. It's a perfect match. I can't get them to sell. I can't get them to buy when I sell. Okay, what has to happen for you to buy my product? So the guy did. Went in, sit down. What has to happen to buy my product? The guy said, they have to be read. They have to be packed 12 in a box, and they got to be here Thursday by 10 o'clock. Jeff said, okay, we'll put 8 red ones in a box, and we'll have them there by 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. That's what you want, right? The guy said, yeah, but how'd you know? And here's what happens. When it's their process, their words, and it's so familiar to them, they don't recognize that they gave it to you. I have made more money with that phrase, that question, than anything else I've ever done. I often ask, what has to happen for you to start this new program? What has to happen for you to ask your boss for a raise? What has to happen for you to go to a different place to get to be some time off? It's not my answer, it's theirs.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
how powerful that is?
It's very powerful. And I think, would you suggest that's something you ask for yourself? You can ask
Every
yourself,
day, several
right? Yes, I think it's a great question, and just unpacking that and understanding that everyone has a different process, and we cannot make up theirs, because that's where we lose the connection. And
gotta
that
listen.
is that we
What
that's
has to
right.
happen before, and then quiet and listen, and they'll tell you. It's strange, because most people have no idea that you're eliciting that kind of information. They just give it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they're giving away any the secrets to the universe. They're solving their own problem, and you're helping them by marrying that. And it's a very, very valuable asset and skill to have as a leader, for sure. That's awesome. So in closing, what would your go-to book be? Maybe something that had a major impact on you?
Oh, I love this one. My favorite author currently is Taleb, and he wrote a series of books, and if you look them up, they're called Inserto. But the first one we read was Fooled by Randomness. No, first one we read was Black Swan. Fooled by Randomness, Black Swan. As a matter of fact, my name, he quoted me on the back of his new book called that's awful, I can't remember. Anyway, my name is on the back cover. And because I said once a year, my wife and I reread Antifragile. And it's the most important book I ever read, I think. And I've read a lot of books, but that one says, how do you leverage you to maximize a benefit for yourself and those around you?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Become anti-fragile.
Mm-hmm. That book changed my life.
Did it?
And that book changed my life.
Yes.
Because I was fragile. I had the viewpoint and belief that I was fragile. And that book changed my life. Yeah. So I'm 100% with you. I'm just like cheering inside saying, yes, yes, yes. I love that you read it every year. I don't do that, but I'm going to start.
Well, what I find is it's a different book every time I read it. I mature over the year or the 2 years or whatever it is. And in that, it's a new book. I see new things in it. And it's like, how didn't I see that before? I don't know. But I have new eyes, new ears, and I'm a new life.
As it should be. As it should be. That's so beautiful. And I love this because I always love to look for classics, like books that I want to keep on my shelves and that I'll reread. So I'm going to make sure. I mean, I love this. Good, good, good. Okay. So contact information. How can people reach out to you? And then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. I have a great website. It's called mycoach.com. All you got to do is type in mycoach.com and up I come. If you type in Colle, that's Colle Davis, anywhere on the internet there, I'm going to pop up because I'm all over the place. That's how you get a hold of me. On LinkedIn, I'm there on LinkedIn, lots of different places. I appreciate you. I appreciate your asking me to come on board. And please, if anything I can do to help you or anybody that sees this, please reach out. I'd be delighted to help you out.
I hope you all get that. This gentleman, I met him a few months ago, and he's been incredibly generous in just sharing. And it's something that's important. I think that we all need to do as leaders is to connect with those that we find, maybe we read an article from them, and just reach out to them and let them know that you were moved by something that they said. And you never know that they may respond like Colle responded to me and said yes to being on my podcast today. So Colle, thank you so much. I also want to share the aquaponics details because I think that's so cool. Side note, my brother-in-law was in the Peace Corps. This is many years ago, but set up tilapia aquaponics for it was in Ghana. Yes. And so to me, it's like I just got a little butterfly in my tummy because I know that, and I know how powerful that was because it fed so many, and so it's tremendous. And I'm blessed and honored to have you as my guest today. Thank you so much, Colle. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks everyone for watching. Be sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Lead Stronger, Longer.
Enjoy.
Take this wise advice here. Thanks again, Colle.